right, so I'm going to do my little centering thing I do from Bring My Body Work, just rubbing my hands and then placing them over my eyes. Oh, that might help if I was actually on there, huh? There I am. All right. Well, I normally like to have something new, but I didn't write anything this week. I think Mercury retrograde got me. So I'll read a little bit from my book, and then we'll see what. Let's see, is anybody missing anybody? I guess not. That's what it was. Okay. Okay, well, a few years ago I took a trip out to Milwaukee to visit a friend, and I wrote a couple poems. One about the plane ride and one about there. So I thought I'd read those. Let's see. Alone. On a flight from LA to Denver, I'm in the window seat peering down. Maybe we are over the Mojave Desert or the canyon lands of Utah. The terrain is desolate and vast. Nothing but tan sands and black basalt hills. Nothing green growing. And then suddenly, at the end of a long, straight dirt road, is a house with a bit of green around it. Oh my God, who could be living down there? But as I think about it, I have a pleasant feeling. Maybe it's an ancestral feeling of people leaving crowded Europe, fleeing religious orthodoxy. All that space I feel I could breathe in. I could find skulls or beautiful unexpected cactus flowers, paint them like Georgia O'Keeffe. I could feel my mind free of the crowded thoughts we live with in the city. I could think about important things, like why we are here. I could be like Jesus in the wilderness and not feel alone. Maybe less alone than in the city. And as I sit in the evening and watch the sun set over those black hills, my doubts would sink with it, and the coyotes howling would be company enough. I like that one for some reason. I think we probably all experience that in plane flights. We look down and see, oh my God, there's somebody living out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, this one was about the art museum in Milwaukee. Art. We're walking up to the art museum in Milwaukee. The architect has patterned it after a ship. Indeed, two giant sails open and close each day. Such creativity invites awe. Inside there is the usual old masters section, dark portraits of serious-looking nobility or religious figures. It was a period of somber realism. Walking along through the ages, we come to the Impressionists, experimenting with color and movement. Still later, we come to the Surrealists and Cubists, exploring the absurdities of modern life. And then we come to the abstract painters, who seek meaning beyond form, splotches of color and formless form, culminating in pictures of only one color. We come back home and sit in the backyard. I'm looking at the pear tree, filled with so many chattering finches. I can't help but think I like the Impressionists best. I imagine Monet sitting in his garden, Van Gogh striding over the fields, Georgia O'Keeffe reimagining poppies. Yet when I let my eyes lift upwards to the pure blue sky, I can see why some painter might paint a totally blue canvas. Now when I see the sky and landscape all together, it makes the whole picture. And when I experience that in myself, then I exist also in the picture.
Hmm.
I like that one too.
I like the line that I exist also in the picture. I like that.
Yeah, that's one of the blessings of Brahma body work. We come to experiences of that kind of thing. So, okay. Here's a little one. I don't think I've ever read this one. Coming to Earth. We've forgotten how to really understand. Like misguided scientists, we remove what we wish to know from the world that gives it meaning. We know now the Earth revolves around the sun, and our sun is only one of billions of stars. But the old view had wisdom too. The Earth as center of universe. If we come first to our Earth, our body and soul, and holographically we can know the whole. Oh, I did a little rhyme there. Yeah, okay. Maybe one more. Not alone. Watching waves come ashore one after the other, it's calming somehow. I begin wondering about my friend who has OCD. Is he trying to stay calm, doing the same action over and over? The waves are created by the wind pushing the water up. This produces a spinning action. I watch each wave meeting its predecessor coming back out. What a riotous conversation they have. I hope my friend meets someone when the wind in his mind spins him to break on the day, and they have a conversation, and he knows he is not alone.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a better poem than I thought it was.
Sometimes I write something and then I come back to it a year later and I go, did I really write that?
Yeah. Especially like where I wrote, I hope that my friend meets someone when the wind in his mind spins him to break on the day.
Mm.
Yeah. Hmm. He was a young man. I lived with his mother when he was kind of more in teenage years, and then he lived with me again when he was maybe in his early 40s. He had developed some OCD stuff, but a good kid. But the world had done some things to him somehow. I don't know what. Well, Glenda wrote a very nice poem. Read that.
You said it cheered you up.
Yeah, it's very. There was a little bit of a little dark mood this time,
Whimsy.
but
Hmm.
I found it fun. So this is by our friend Glenda. It's called Questions and Possibilities. Can you hear the smile in my voice or the laughter in my embrace? If you listen carefully, you might hear the silence of the dew washing dust from the grass. Does dewfall cleanse the wings of a sleeping bird? Where does the wind go at midnight? Does it smile as the dew forms and its laughter embraces the breath of the world. I like that. In the morning, I look out my window. The world is still there. Did I think I'd the power to make it disappear? How do raindrops decide which will fall first? Do they smile with glee as it fades from view? Or do they simply shout, "Wait for me," and fall too? If I was a raindrop, could you hear me smile? Would I become dew to wash away the loaming? And would my laughter embrace each blade of grass? Are green eyes green because blue was taken? Could the veld then be blue and the sky emerald green? Thus is a laughter's smile, such rain and embrace, a silent joy, a ripple place, a smiling breath, a sleepy dawn, to dance a quiet dance of joy, and hear the smile within my voice, and the laughter in my embrace. So many possibilities, born of questions.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, how funny. What's her name is talking to me?
I'm Siri. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, Sarah, we don't want you bothering us. Wasn't that weird? How come she came in? You could add that to your poem. Why did Siri come in?
That's a nice one, Glenda.
Yeah.
That was so, trying to think of the word for that.
Uninvited.
Oh, the Siri. Yeah, that was funny. Maybe did I touch something? Oh, I know what I did. I touched it on my phone or something. But then it showed up on my computer. That's weird. Anyway, but Brenda, that was really fun. That's why it cheered me up. That was a very fun poem. Alrighty. Well, I guess it's
I like to take things that don't go
oh,
together
you're breaking up
and
a
put
little
them
bit.
together with thoughts,
Yeah, yeah,
like raindrops.
yeah, yeah. That was. I still can't think of the name for that. That was fun. That's what makes doing poetry fun. Coming up with all kinds of different associations. Well, let's see. At this point, I usually read some other people's stuff. Here's an oldie but a goodie. I think Wallace Stevens was famous for this poem. A study of two pairs. Number one, opusculum pedagogum. That must be Latin. The pairs are not vials, nudes, or bottles. They resemble nothing else. Number two, they are yellow forms composed of curves, bulging toward the base. They are touched red. Number three, they are not flat surfaces having curved outlines. They are round, tapering toward the top. And there's a little one by an older Japanese poet. Void in form. When, just as they are, white dewdrops gather on scarlet maple leaves, regard the scarlet beads. Oh, you know what? I didn't read all of Wallace Stevens' pair poems. There was more. I thought that was the end of it. It was a number 4. In the way they are modeled, there are bits of blue. Oh, a hard leaf, dry leaf hangs from the stem. Number 5. The yellow glistens. It glistens from various yellows, citrons, oranges, and greens, flowering over the skin. Number 6. The shadows of the pears are blobs on the green cloth. The pears are not seen, as the observer wills. Oh, okay. He dropped a little depth there at the end there. Oh, okay, read this one. It's called The Fish by Elisabeth Bishop. I caught a tremendous fish and held him beside the boat, half out of water, with my hook fast in one corner of his mouth. He didn't fight. He hadn't fought at all. He hung a grunting weight, battered and venerable and homely. Here and there his brown skin hung in strips like ancient wallpaper, and its pattern of darker brown was like wallpaper. Shapes like full-blown roses stained and lost through age. He was speckled with barnacles, fine rosettes of lime, and infested with tiny white sea lice, and underneath 2 or 3 rags of green weed hung down, while his gills were breathing in the terrible oxygen, the frightening gills, fresh and crisp with blood that can cut so badly. I thought of the coarse white flesh packed in like feathers, the big bones and the little bones, the dramatic reds and blacks of his shiny entrails, and the pink swim bladder like a big peony. I looked into his eyes, which were far larger than mine, but shallower and yellowed, the irises backed and packed with tarnished tinfoil, seen through the lenses of old scratched isinglass. They shifted a little, but not to return my stare. It was more like the tipping of an object toward the light. I admired his sullen face, the mechanism of his jaw, and then I saw that from his lower lip, if you could call it a lip, grim, wet, and weapon-like, hung 5 old pieces of fish line, or four in a wire leader, with a swivel still attached, with all their 5 big hooks grown firmly into his mouth. A green line frayed at the end where he broke it, 2 heavier lines and a fine black thread, still crimped from the stain and snap where it broke and he got away. Like metals with their ribbons frayed and wavering, a 5-haired beard of wisdom trailing from his aching jaw. I stared and stared. The victory filled up the little rented boat from the pool of bilge where oil had spread a rainbow around the rusted engine to the bailer rusted orange. The sun cracked thwarts, the oarlocks on their strings, the gunnels, until everything was rainbow, 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 and I let the fish go. Ah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I was getting depressed.
Yeah, I'd read that one before. I knew what the end was. Still, it was like an amazing description she had. Yeah, let's see. Here's one by Robert Frost. Hyla Brook. By June our brooks run out of song and speed. Sought for much after that it will be found, either to have gone groping underground and taken with it all the Hyla breed that shouted in the mist a month ago, like ghost of sleigh bells in a ghost of snow. or flourished and come up in jewel weed, weak foliage that is blown upon and bent, even against the way its waters went. Its bed is left a faded paper sheet of dead leaves stuck together by the heat, a brook to none, but who remember long. This as it will be seen is other far than with brooks taken otherwhere in song. We love the things we love for what they are.
Mm.
He's got his own kind of cadence, doesn't he? What have I got? It was one by Rilke. Just as the winged energy of delight. Just as the winged energy of delight carried you over many chasms early on, now raise the daringly imagined arch, holding up the astonishing bridges. Miracle doesn't lie only in the amazing, living through and defeat of danger. Miracles become miracles in the clear achievement that is earned. To work with things is not hubris when building the association beyond words. Denser and denser the pattern becomes. Being carried along is not enough. Take your well-disciplined strengths and stretch them between two opposing poles, because inside human beings is where God learns.
Mm. I like that last line.
Yeah. I kind of like that in poems, that you just a whole bunch of description, and then all of a sudden you just plop something in at the end.
Yeah.
Here's a little one by Gary Snyder. Why log truck drivers rise earlier than students of Zen. In the high seat before dawn dark, polished hubs gleam, and the shiny diesel stack warms and flutters up the Tyler road grade to the logging in Poorman Creek. 30 miles of dust. There is no other life. Seems to be a little pattern with the poems today. There's description, and then all of a sudden a little teaser for the brain. Let's see. Maybe I'll read one more. This is by Olaf Hage. It was probably Norwegian or something. Across the swamp. It is the roots from all the trees that have died out here. That's how you can walk safely over the soft places. Roots like these keep their firmness. It's possible they've lain here centuries, and there is still some dark remains of them under the moss. They are still in the world and hold you up so you can make it over. And when you push out into the mountain lake, high up, you feel how the memory of that cold person who drowned himself once helps hold up your frail boat. He, really crazy, trusted his life to water and eternity. Whoa.
Mm.
Well, it's actually getting to be merry time. Yeah, we lost Barbara. I wonder if she lost her connection somehow. Let's see. This is Mary Oliver. other kingdoms. Consider the dark kingdoms, the trees, for example, with their mellow-sounding titles, oak, aspen, willow, or the snow, for which the people of the north have dozens of words to describe its different arrivals, or the creatures, with their thick fur, their shy and wordless gaze, their infallible sense of what their lives are meant to be. Thus the world grows rich, grows wild, and you too grow rich, grow sweetly wild, as you too were born to be. The gift. After the wind-bruised sea furrowed itself black back into folds of blue, I found in the black rack, W-R-A-C-K, a shell called a Neptune, tawny and white, spherical, with a tail, and a tower and a dark door, and all of it no larger than my fist. It looked, you might say, very expensive. I thought of its travels in the Atlantic's wind-pounded bowl, and wondered that it was still intact. Ah, yes, there was that door that held only the eventual, inevitable emptiness. There's that. There's always that. Still, what a house to leave behind. I held it like the wisest of books and imagined its travels toward my hand. And now, your hand. Thanks. Let's see, I'll read one more. Coyote in the dark. Coyotes remembered. The darkest thing met me in the dark. It was only a face and a brace of teeth that held no words, though I felt a salty breath sighing in my direction. Once in an autumn that is long gone, I was down on my knees in the cranberry bog and heard in that lonely place 2 voices coming down hill, and I was thrilled to be granted this secret that the coyotes walking together can talk together. For I thought, what else could it be? And even though what emerged were 2 young women, 2-legged for sure, and not at all aware of me, their nimble young women tongues telling and answering, and though I knew I had believed something probably not true, yet it was wonderful to have believed it, and it stayed with me. As a present, once given is forever given. Easy and happy they sounded, those 2 maidens of the wilderness, from which we have, who knows, to what furious, pitiful extent, banished ourselves.
Gotta love memory.
Banish ourselves in the wilderness? Well, okay, maybe I got time for one more. Last time I ran over and... Okay. I think this one's kind of famous. Mornings at Blackwater. For years, every morning I drank from Blackwater Pond. It was flavored with oak leaves and also, no doubt, the feet of ducks. And always it assuaged me from the dry bowl of the very far past. What I want to say is that the past is the past, and the present is what your life is, and you are capable of choosing what that will be, darling citizen. So come to the pond of your, or the river of your imagination, or the harbor of your longing, and put your lips to the world, and live your life. All right, that sounds like a good one to end on.
Thank you, Jon.
Yeah, thanks, Jon.
Thanks, Jon.
Okay,
Good to see ya.
thank all you guys. That was
Have
fun.
a great week.
Thanks, Jon.
Okay, Roxanne. All right, everybody have a good week. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.